Yeah, whenever you want to start.
Oh, dear heavens. I'm so sorry. Lord, embarrassing. Anyways, uh welcome to another welcome to the last episode of what's the third season?
Yes,
Last episode of the third season. I am Paragon Don.
I'm Jamae.
And I'm Jay Trent.
Excuse me for the late start. Notice did not hear her say we was ready. So my apologies. Of course, we will be recapping the rest of the tournament. Um, some transfer news. The WNBA draft is soon upon us. I think it's in like less than a week. Um, and other miscellaneous things. So, what was was the last time we talked about the Elite Eight, or did we get a chance to talk about the Elite Eight?
No, we did. We only have the Final Four and championship left.
Okay.
Um, Hi Jasmine, hi Sammy. This is not the last episode ever, guys. This is the last episode for the college season. We're gonna like take a break and then start again when the W season starts. We are not dying, but thank you for the concern.
Oh, they thought this was the last episode ever?
Yeah.
Sammy, we're here for you, brother.
So for me. Um,
I guess we can start with UCLA and UConn. And I mean, Lord knows, I, I kind of am gonna say the same thing about UConn both games. Them niggas came to play. Like it ain't no, I don't know. Like it's one of those things where yeah, the other team like did not do things they were supposed to do, but like at the same time, Paige and them were on such a mission, it almost felt like there was nothing you could have done regardless. Like they was not losing for at any point. Uh, so I don't know. The way they basically was like anybody but Lauren, and then Lauren still kind of got hers, and then I think Lauren had like 24, and I think the next closest person had like 8, was really nasty. Um, so I don't know what UCLA is gonna do to address that in the future because I just that just can't we can't live like that. Um, but yeah, UConn was not losing. Like I don't know what else there is to say about that. They they did what they were supposed to do, and like all praises to them, except the old man from up.
It's it's just levels to it. Like they were just a cut above the whole tournament. Like it was just their year. And sometimes it can be like um it can be like sometimes it come down to like a late game decision or a missed rotation or sometimes a player gets hot that you don't expect. And other times it's just we can't do nothing about that. And that's kind of what it came down to. I mean, more or less. Um, like you said, in the UCLA game in particular, they made a conscious effort to say we're going to we're going to front Lauren Betts on these every time she gets in the post, we're gonna front her. So we're going to make these post entry passes extremely difficult for your guards. And amongst other things that became too much for UCLA to overcome. And so that's that was my main takeaway from that game at least.
Um, Honestly, I don't really have too many additional thoughts. Besides the fact that like I said I was rooting for UCLA because everybody was like, they're gonna get their ass beat. And I was like, no, they're not. I mean, like in their defense, like they've never been to the Final Four. Like nobody has ever been to the Final Four over there, so they ain't know what they was getting into. Um, and things happen. But I felt honestly less bad when I saw how UConn played South Carolina because I'm like, they was here last week. So um I don't I don't know. It was just like every time I think in both games, it's like every time you felt like you might got an ounce of hope, somebody did something that was like, no, girl. And so, yeah, shout out to UConn.
So if you're UCLA, what do you look for either in like the transfer portal or out of like a freshman class or just anything like that to like so shit like this doesn't happen again? Like you have one more year of Lauren Betts and you obviously don't want to waste it. Um, what do you think is your next step as far as like what's gonna get us what type of player is gonna get us over the top to compliment her?
I think the this is like I guess my the problem I have with that sentiment is that it almost feels like UCLA does not have the personnel to win a national championship. And that I don't agree with that. Like I think they have enough of the pieces. And I think their biggest problem is last year it was guards or bust. And then this year it was Lauren Betts or bust. And it's like I think they just need to figure out that happy medium. Um, and I think some of that comes with rotations. But I also think the other part of that is like playing a more difficult schedule. I think they played South Carolina and they won, and they didn't really play anybody else until they got to the Big Ten. And I don't know if they were really challenged enough. Like, I don't feel like they played anybody like UConn. And in the sense of like, that UConn team was not really the UConn team we seen earlier in the year. So like let's make that distinction. Them niggas was doing something different. But I also don't think that they really played anybody who was like a high powered offense. Um, because you play a lot of the Ten teams, like I'm not gonna say they're the best defenders, but that's kind of what it starts to come down to is like who can get the stop. And um they're not playing against people who are like that on offense. And so I think once that happens to you, you kind of a little bit of starstruck because it's like, okay, now what do I do? Right? Because every game that they lost um was against USC, and they clearly could go band for band with USC. Like none of the games were like really blowouts. I think what they lost maybe about 10 or 12 in one of them, but most of them were pretty close. So it's like, okay, a couple of more hit shots, then like you recover. But it was never, I don't think they've ever really been in a situation where it's like, how can we really stop in high power offense? I do think they'll be more prepared to do so next season, especially since like they're getting Charlize Leger Walker is like a really solid point guard. She didn't play because she was injured. But they're getting her back, and so you get some like veteran talent and someone to take the ball out of Kiki's hand so that she can focus on scoring. I do want to give her credit because I do think that like I've seen her grow a lot despite I don't know what her stats exactly look like, but I do think she's grown a lot and like you can definitely see that she's like starting to take pride in her playmaking, but it's you know, you don't really know what to do like once you get punched in the mouth and it's kind of like out of reach. It's like what do you do after that?
Okay, so then if you are Lauren, what are you, is there anything you're looking to like add in particular to your game to make things easier on yourself? Or is it just refining the skills that you already have?
I think Lauren's in a spot where she can just refine skills. The deep seal is already unstoppable. I think her thing is more mental than anything because it's like I think in a couple of the games where she at least struggled early on, she was it was really physical and a lot of it she was getting fouled. But when the game isn't called like that, it's like you still have to play through that. And I think that's something that kind of took her some time to kind of work through. So I think like as long as she's more prepared to deal with that in the future, like I think she should be okay.
Yeah, I don't think like not to say that she's like a perfect player or anything, but I don't think there's much of anything for her to really add to her game. I mean, she was deservedly a like she was deservedly a candidate for National Player of the Year, and she won Defensive Player of the Year. Like she was that good this year. Like she was the reason that UCLA had the season that they had. So it does feel like it's just having another year of experience will, you know, that does give you an opportunity to like maybe there's like some nuance stuff that I'm not seeing from the games that I've watched, but I'm sure that there's something that she's looking at that she feels like she can work on. But in terms of adding something to her game to improve the team, I don't know how much of that there is.
And I definitely, I don't want y'all to think I'm asking these questions because I like think something wrong with the team or her. It's just, when you don't win, it's always a question of like, what could we have either personally done better, or like what can we as a team do better? I think even though I think there's a thing where people feel like just because you win, sometimes it means you didn't have the pieces to win. And at a certain point, I feel like if I got this far, that means I did have what I needed to win. I just didn't do it. Like, I mean, and we'll talk about this more in depth with South Carolina. Like, I feel like South Carolina lost, and although they did lose bad, but people were like, you see, Dawn can't win without a big, and it's like she obviously had the pieces that she needed to win the game because she got to the national championship. So they added some pieces, which is great. But when you win your conference tournament and you lose like 3 games all year, and then you end up in the national championship again, you had the pieces that you needed to win, regardless of what that score was. UConn being on like a generational run does not take anything away from what South Carolina did this year. Like South Carolina could have played virtually anyone else, and I felt like they probably would have won that game. It's just Paige and them said absolutely not. So yeah, that is
No, I think
but
yeah,
speak
no, I think that's
oh,
I
go
think
ahead.
that's a fair point. And I think like honestly, all besides Texas, because I still didn't believe in them. They got there, but I still didn't believe in them. Um, but mostly because Texas just has no offense, and I don't know, like that their defense is so good. You can see that defense carries you a long way, but baby, you got to start scoring at some point. Um, and to the UConn point though, I like when you shoot like back to back games, 50%, like that's basketball God saying you deserve this win. Cause like even the like law averages shit, like they were not supposed to hit all of them shots. Like I don't, that was like, I think Candace Parker was the person who said like, to win a championship, like you gotta have offense, you gotta defend, you gotta do things the right way, but like a little bit of luck come into that. And I think that like that kind of is what happened for UConn. And that's not to say that like they didn't earn it or anything, but like they want like the gods wanted them to win. And how I know, I think was it the third quarter, they were up like 12. Malaysia got in the game. She got a steal. Well, she hit like a bank shot. She got a steal. Um, and Gino called out timeout immediately. Like immediately. Like after that whole possession, like, okay, it's like a 10-point game or something. And they got back in the game. And I think AZ immediately hit a three. And it's like nothing ever works out that perfectly. Like, especially in a game like this. And so it's like, yeah, y'all were meant to win after that. Cause it's like, well, if you're gonna come out and it wasn't even like it was like she hit the three, and I almost feel like it was like back to back threes at that. And I was like, you know what? Like it's just not meant. And that's okay. Um, not y'all time. Nothing you could do. But to the South Carolina point, like honestly, even when they were down 12, I was like, they could come back. Like we're just getting started. It literally wasn't until like the middle of the fourth quarter, or maybe the end of the third quarter, I was like, they're cooked. This is not. They're not gonna win this game. They're not getting back into this. Um, and I think that's just like you have the pieces. Sometimes it's just not your day. Like, and there's nothing you can really do about that. I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah, it feels like I was just gonna say, that UConn team just they just turned into a buzzsaw at some point during the tournament, and it was just like, and for to the South Carolina point, um, they kind of all season they got off to slow starts offensively because they kind of they usually use that first quarter to kind of feel things out, and UConn was playing at a level where it makes it difficult to withstand that. That they made it difficult to like if you get up to a slow start against a team that's hitting shots at the level that they're hitting shots, it becomes very difficult. It doesn't matter how good of a defense you're playing because it got to a point where you're even playing defense relatively well, and the shots for UConn are still falling.
Bro,
And like at that point, and then at that point, you start to press on offense, and it becomes more difficult to find easy looks. And now everybody's pressing, and you kind of lost control of the game at that point.
I'm pretty sure there was a point where like Joyce was defending Sarah Strong and she had her hand in her face and Sarah just knocked it down. I was like, yeah, you're not gonna win. Like if your center who don't hit through who started hitting threes 3 games ago is hitting threes in your face, like you're not winning. Like they're cooked. It was not meant for you. It's not your year. Can't.
speaking
To
of oh,
yeah.
my bad.
No, I was just gonna I saw Sammy's comment about the schedule. Um they start making it like I think they kind of have like an idea, like they'll have like certain matchups where they have like a home and home, or like they'll have like the SEC ACC challenge. They'll be there, and they sign up for like uh mini tournaments around like Thanksgiving and sometimes around Christmas that they'll go to, but they often kind of go through the summer like still filling in games. So it's not like immediate and they're not gonna publish it right away. You probably not gonna know until the season comes back around, probably in like October, unless it's like a tournament. I think like the Barclays game, the games they're having at Barclays is sometime in November. And I think it's like Duke, South Carolina, Tennessee, and UConn. Or maybe I'm mixing up tournaments. Either way, it's one of those. Like those are the ones you'll know about early on. Um, but other than that, no. They'll figure it out at some point through the summer.
What I was gonna say, well, y'all were talking about Joyce and Sarah. It was funny them talking about on the broadcast. They're talking about how like they've been playing each other for so long. And I guess they were talking to Sarah, and Sarah was like, "Yeah, Joyce's teams always beat mine." And like, hey, you in high school, and now like Sarah won the national championship against her, and then now you have this back and forth. Like, okay, you one up me in this level, and now I'm about to one up in you in this level, and now just going to see what I think they'll have a very interesting dynamic. Like that is like a rivalry that I would love to see develop. Of course, and nothing like crazy, but you know how like sports commentary gets. But yeah, that is definitely a rivalry I'm very tuned into. Like I definitely want to see them play each other at least like once a year or twice a year, if possible.
Yeah, I think South Carolina and UConn have been playing each other for the last like at least the like last 10 years. So I don't know if that's ever
Yeah,
gonna end.
yeah. I enjoy. I look forward to that matchup because those are two of best the best programs out right now, and two of the best coaches ever. Like that. That's what I want to see. So it's something to look forward to. It was funny that when that ended up being the matchup, I saw somebody was like, "Oh, we got UConn and South Carolina again," and it was just like, "What are y'all talking about? They played each other for the Natty one time, like, and it was like 3 years ago." It's like
It's
y'all be saying anything.
on two entirely different rosters.
Right.
Literally. Like,
Paige was what? Was
So
Paige what? That was Paige's sophomore year?
yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
So is it safe to say and that of course prior to South Carolina signing today that Texas and South Carolina kind of needed the same things as far as like a either consistent offense or a consistent score or kind of both to kind of take themselves not to the next level because I mean they were in the Final Four at national championship, but you know just like make things easier for themselves on a day-to-day basis. Because it's both of them do lean on their defense very heavily. Like Jay said, South Carolina will let you hang around in the first quarter, and then like they'll outscore you by 15 in the next two because they're like, all right, I figured out how they play. But like, and that because their defense is just that good. Um,
So to me, the difference between South Carolina and Texas, to me, I do think that um I do think they're both in need of easy offense because I know that Texas has Madison Booker who can, get to whatever shot she wants. But a lot of time a lot of time those shots that she gets are more difficult than you would hope. Like it
Very
feels like a lot
difficult.
of yeah, it feels like a lot of time. It's just like Madison Booker's taking a contested shot and she's hitting it because she's that good. And you can't live with that. Like you can't that can't be your diet going into every game. You can't just be like, oh, we'll just press this button and she'll throw up a prayer and save us every time. Like that's that's not sustainable. You have to you kind of have to have a way to you got to have a go-to. It's like, okay, we need a bucket right here. What do we do?
Hmm.
And it does feel like South Carolina did not have that. And I think some of that is like I know people were saying, oh, Don Staley teams need a post player. And while that might not be necessarily true, but I do think when you have a dominant post player, that gives you a go-to. You say, okay, we need a bucket. This is what we'll do.
I think
But I think I think that um I think that you kind of have to be able to you need a way to draw up easy looks. It doesn't matter how it comes. It's just more often than not, it's in the post, especially in the SEC, because
mhm.
that's where the dominant post players are. So that's part of it.
I think it's just odd to me that Dawn Staley needs a post is a critique because just women's basketball is so heavily played in the paint anyway. It's like that's just generally where your best players are going to be. Like, of course, you have your Jujus and your Hannahs and your Caitlins and Pages, whatever, whatever. But I feel like 70-80% of the time, the best players on the floor, they play in that paint and they get busy in that paint. And it's just that's because there is no easier shot in basketball. And no matter what your range is or how many screens you come off of or whatever, whatever, there is no easier shot than a layup. And if you can consistently get layups, you are in a good position. Like, of course, Gino had Paige and AZ, but he also has Sarah Strong. And she looked like the best player on the court at different intervals throughout this national championship run. Like you you need somebody who is willing to get busy down there.
I think a couple of things. One, to the Texas point, Madison Booker, underrated talent, is her ability to come off of a screen. I have never seen like I can't think of anybody else in women's college basketball who comes off a screen and is like able to get to their shot quicker. Um,
Mhm.
like even in that game, like Bree would be on Madison Booker's ass. And she come off that screen and it's like she's all like the midi is already happened. It's already done. Like good luck. You're not gonna like and it's clean. And it's like it feels like that's their go-to shot. But I mean, we know like we always encourage the midi, but it's a tough shot. Like it has to almost be perfectly done. Um, and I think that the problem with Texas in particular is that all of their other offense outside of Maddie is in the paint. Like everybody needs to be around the rim to score. And like it's kind of fascinating. Um, and this is something I kind of tweeted like during the game. It's about Shay Holly because she used to be like a knockdown 3-point shooter. Like I don't
Mhm.
know what happened to her or what that game planned or whatever. She's been like a really good defender, this like good, really good like on ball defender. But she used to be like their knockdown shooter, And I feel like if they just had that element of her game still available, I think their outcome might be a little bit different. Because it's like I mean, I mean, I don't really think they would have beat South Carolina, but like you have that consistently, that changes how teams defend you. Um, and so you can't you get more space. So anyway, they definitely need easier shots, and they just honestly need to stretch the floor a little bit. To South Carolina point in the conversation of South Carolina needs a dominant big. It's a really fascinating conversation to me because Joyce Edwards and Chloe Kitts beat bitches asses all year. And Joyce is really apparently really should be a wing, but either way, both of them have been playing on that block in that little inside that arc and playing really, really well. Um, I don't know what happened to Chloe. I mean, I know for Joyce, it's her first time here. She don't know what's going on. Um, but for Chloe, it's I don't know what happened in that at the start of the tournament. Like she really started to struggle to hit shots, and I don't know if it was like a mental thing or just like not being as aggressive as usual or whatever the case may be. But that's honestly like all year she was we need a bucket, give the ball to Chloe. And she got
Mhm.
us. And I think the other difference too is like last season when they needed a bucket, they went to Tahina Pow Pow. And I feel like she kind of took a step back in terms of maybe not taking a step back, but I feel like she really tried to focus on her playmaking this year, which took away um some of her like aggressive shot taking. And I know she was going through a shooting slump at some point during the season, so I don't know if that just kind of reeled her back a little bit. But if both of them were aggressive through the rest of the year or through the tournament rather, I think their ease of shot comes. And I do think for South Carolina as a team, they're really a team that's like, I need to see a shot fall before I can get energized. And you kind of can't play basketball like that. Like, especially not against teams who are playing perfect. Like if UConn was playing perfect basketball, you can't really just wait until it start to feel good off your hand. Like you kind of have to start hunting your shot and like trying to, just doing what you know and not trying to think about it too much. And so I think that kind of slowed them down. I'm not really well, I was a little I guess I'm saying I get the critique, but also I don't really get the critique because like they've been post play dominant all season, and I still hate the critique because y'all said it last year, and Ashley Watkins was beating y'all ass until she tore her ACL, and I don't know. I don't like the narrative because it's like you need a dominant big, but you're in the national championship, like. And Chloe as a post player, she's not even like big. Like Chloe is relatively small compared to like most post players. And like she's thin. She's what 6'2" maybe. Like she's not a big body at all. But like
Yeah, 6'2".
she's 6'2" and thin, and still like when she's aggressive, she's literally competing with all these best bigs in the country. So it's like I don't know. I feel like because we saw a lot of Joyce and she had a lot of big games that people kind of were like, they don't really have that, but they do. It was right there. And they even said like it was on um, was it the Texas broadcast or maybe the Duke broadcast? It was like whenever Chloe Kitts gets a double double, South Carolina wins. And it's like if you have an aggressive Chloe, despite only being 6'2", like South Carolina is in a good position. So I don't know. I kind of hate that narrative.
And
In the
then
chat, we got, do you think that in the future, a lot more coaches are going to encourage their bigs to be able to create shots outside of the paint?
I'm actually interested in seeing like what the trajectory of women's basketball is like. And this is definitely coming from someone who is like newer again. Now, I definitely don't want to act like I've been watching since I was a kid or anything. But like when I think about the WNBA and I think of like when someone hits like 7, 8 threes in the game, I be seeing stats like, yeah, this is the first time this has happened since like 2003. And it's like it seems like I'm not gonna say like play styles have been stagnant, but it's like it's definitely been post dominant and it doesn't have any plans to change anytime soon. And I mean you could see like this is still me thinking from a WNBA's perspective. Like sometimes Asia is kind of leaning in to shooting more threes when she's open. Of course, Stewie shoots them, JJ shoots them, Fee shoots them. Um, like I think we're kind of getting there, but it seems like a this is the last thing on my development list right now. Like I think in the men's game, like there are bigs who that is one of the first things they learn is shooting and shooting threes, and then they work their way inside. But
And they
it
stink.
seems like in the women's game, it is the exact opposite for yeah. Yeah. But in the women's game, it's the exact opposite. Like, I mean, even with Angel, like she was so she's so post heavy and like she be in that mud and like she's expanding her game to like a mid-range jumper. Like maybe by the end of her career, she might get to shooting threes consistently. Um, but that just seems so later on in her development. Like Camilla is getting a little bit of a mid-range jumper to kind of stretch the floor a little bit. But yeah, I don't I can see it, but right now it looks like this is still gonna be like a this is the last thing we need. Like even with BG is in the twilight of her career just now shooting threes.
She's where she'll be going, child. I don't think it's a thing that's gonna happen like right away. Honestly, because I feel like the women's game is much more traditional in the sense that it's like there's still like role players and people just being really good at these like specific things and like being a three-level scorer, especially in the WNBA, is kind of like a limited talent. Like your elite of the elite can score at three levels, but that's not a bag that everybody got, and especially not consistently. And I think um in college, I mean, I think it's different. Like, I think there are more like three-level scorers in college, but most of the time, you're that team's best player, right? And it's like if you don't have a good night, what the rest of your team gonna do? We don't know. Um, so I don't know. I think they will to, but it's like I think eventually it'll move to that. But at the same time, if you just have shooters on your team, you kind of have less of that problem. Like if you have at least one or two other people on the floor who can actually knock down a three, like then teams can't, crowd you in the paint. Or I mean they could and they can like force you to do it, but like sometimes a three-pointer is the great equalizer. But at the end of the day, like that finishing around the rim isn't gonna be solid every time. So I don't know. I wouldn't. It's not broken in my opinion. So it's cute, but like, do you need it? I don't know.
Yeah, I guess to me, I think that I do think teams are prioritizing spacing with these lineups, but I also think you don't have to shoot threes to be a spacer. Like there are ways to provide spacing in your lineups without a big that shoots threes all the time. If that makes sense. Like you can have your big at the free throw line doing handoffs and creating spacing. Because what you need to do is you need to get the other team's rim protector out of the paint. So that means whoever your post player is, if they're going to be away from the rim, they either need to be able to shoot or they need to have the ball because you need a reason to guard them. So I think it'll be interesting to see how coaches can get creative with that because I do think there's a way to create spacing in your lineups even with post players that can't shoot from the outside. But you will start to see like see players like Kiki Iriafen who has a pretty nice mid range. Like you'll see more the more highly touted bigs and post players have that kind of shot in their game, whether it's a 3-pointer or not.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And then lastly, UConn. Uh, they were the buzzsaw. There wasn't really a point where, I picked South Carolina to win. But once I got to that Final Four, realistically, I was like, nobody's beating this team. I know I said UCLA for chaos purposes, but now Paige is going to the draft. AZ's going to the draft, if I'm not mistaken. Um,
No,
you
she's going.
had, yeah. Uh, uh, Caitlin is she's a grad, so she's got to do something. Um, yeah, so they're losing two of their three best players. Of course, Joyce is a freshman. Not Joyce, excuse me. They're strong as a freshman. What are we expecting of them going forward? They'll obviously still be a top team because they have really good players. They have Gino, they have Sarah Strong. Um, but what are our expectations of UConn for the next couple of years, or at least next year?
Mm, I gotta see. I gotta see. I don't know if
Yeah,
I don't know if I believe in them to be. I mean, I'm gonna pick them as the favorite because they won, and that's the respectful thing to do. They have to prove to me otherwise that they shouldn't be number one. Um, but I don't know if I believe in them because I think, and I only say that because I feel like Paige dragged them there, and then everybody else kind of was like, "Yeah, I got you, sister." When it came down to the get down, and that's fantastic, love that. But you don't have a Paige anymore. You don't have a Paige to when you need that when the going start getting tough, who you gonna get the ball to? And that could be AZ, maybe. But they don't really have a player. I mean, they have Sarah Strong, but she's a big, so it's not like she's gonna have the ball in her hand all the time. But she's shooting threes, so you know what? She might come back next year with a handle package. I don't know. Um, we'll see. I think they can still obviously with the talent that they do have, I do think they could probably they can make a run in the tournament still, but I don't know if I believe in them to repeat.
yeah. I agree that we kind of just have to have them. I have to pick them to win the title again because that's just the way I do things. Like if you won, if you won, you're going to be number one going into next year. because heavy is the head. Like that's just the way it goes. Um, I do wonder. I wonder what they changed going into next season. Obviously, with Paige not being there, um, but you do still have AZ. You have Sarah Strong, who looked like the best player on the floor at multiple times in the last couple of games. So could she be that? Possibly. I think that's going to be the plan. The plan is going to be to play through her because once AZ leaves, that's going to be her team.
Hmm.
So I guess I'm intrigued to see what they look like going into next year. I don't know exactly what the roster is going to be, but we'll see.
I say, and to be fair to them, like they have KK Arnold, who's still a great like on ball defender. Ashlyn Shade has like knocked down shots when they need to. It's kind of really that PG that I'm kind of like question mark there. Um, which I think both KK and Ashlyn have like did that a little bit, but I don't really know if that's their bag. So I wonder how they feel that. I don't know what kind of recruits they have either coming in. So I'm gonna have to see. I'm gonna have to see.
Well, again, congratulations to UConn. Congratulations to Paige. Uh, congratulations to everyone on the UConn roster, but she really had a storybook college career. Like the fact that she dealt with all these injuries and came back and I wouldn't say UConn necessarily had a slow start, but they didn't have a start that really like moved me per se. Although UConn is always UConn, but as the season went on, they kind of showed like, yeah, we are ready for this moment. And now with her about to be the number one pick in the draft, on top of coming off of a championship and breaking all these records for UConn and all this stuff, it's like she really had a storybook ending. So shout out to her. Transfers. So uh some of the big ones. Tanai Latson, South Carolina. Um, we talked about South Carolina's struggling to score. And yeah, South Carolina having issues to score and not having easy buckets, easy points, easy ways to generate offense. And so after coming off of a national championship run, they added the top scorer in the country. Don said, "Never again will I watch basketball that looks like that." How are we feeling?
Hey, no. Obviously, I'd already said I wanted tonight in South Carolina, bro, but to lose the national championship and get the country's leading scorer is crazy. Like, that is insane. Like, that's insane work. Obviously, I think she's a perfect piece, right? But like just saying that is insane. Like you would think it would maybe be somebody, they lost in the Elite Eight, she could be their piece that moved them over. No, the team who lost the national championship is getting the country's leading scorer. Um, I love it. I love it. Literally cocked up. Like, sorry to the rest of you girls. Y'all are cooked. Y'all are cooked. I don't know. I don't know what to tell y'all. Y'all are cooked. Whew.
Yeah, this was like I remember when Sanaya first entered the portal. Um, my first thought was I kind of want to see her on a contender, like like a blue chip program. And I was thinking, I was like, if South Carolina can get her, because they're losing Tahina, they're losing Sanaya, they're losing Bree Hall. Like, there's going to be a hole in the backcourt. And I mean, what better place for her to end up?
Funny, like if they win a national championship next year, bro, like honestly, I think it's more funny because people are fucking mad. Like so many people are angry. The tweets that we've seen today have been insane. I already knew that like people hate South Carolina. Like when teams win, people hate you. I get it. But the tweets, um, for people who are not on social media, we've seen that Malaysia needs to get in the transfer portal. We've seen it don't matter. They're not going to win anyway. We've seen Raven Johnson and Tanaya Latson as a backcourt doesn't move me. Like it's not scary at all. That one honestly was my favorite because I was like, and I told y'all this, Raven Johnson and Tahina Pow Pow was beating y'all asses all year. Like they literally got to the national championship game. So that means y'all a whole lot of people in between that had to get beat. And it didn't scare you. Mind you, Tahina Pow Pow took a step back in her scoring. But now Raven Johnson, who's literally like one of the best on-ball defenders and the nation's leading scorer teaming up, that doesn't scare you? You're not moved? Like I don't see by that. I that was honestly the funniest one I saw today. I'm like, y'all not being for real. Like I understand that you're upset, but that don't make sense. That don't make sense. Like nothing about that made sense. Um, nothing about that made sense.
I think um to me it's just, the type of I I personally love the I'm not moved reactions whenever a big move happens, because it always happens. Like in every sport, whenever there's a major event, there's always the crowd that's like, "Ah, this don't do nothing for me." And it's like, right. Because because I know I know what y'all are doing. The thought is, I'm gonna say I'm not moved, and then if they don't win the title, I can come back to it and be like, "See, I told y'all so." But you don't have to do that. Like, it is perfectly fine to say that could be pretty exciting. Like, even if, like, who knows what the team is gonna look like next year? What you can't say is this isn't. You can't be like, "Oh, well, this move ain't enough." Maybe it ain't. I don't know, but there's no point in just being like, I guess whatever. That don't do much for me. It's like, oh, okay, you're so different. I want to be like you when I grow up. like, like, all right. Like when when Luka Doncic got traded to the Lakers, it was people that was like, oh, but there's only one basketball. This is like him and LeBron James isn't gonna work. It's like, right, right, right. Luka Doncic and LeBron James on the same basketball team isn't gonna work. You're so much smarter than everybody else. Why didn't we think of that?
Bro, I'm telling you, like it's you're right. You don't have to do that. Like it's cool. Like it's honestly really fun too because Tanaya Malaysia, Tanaya Malaysia and Raven all play basketball together. Like we about to see, what their high school basketball or AAU basketball could have looked like, guys. Like this is cool, okay? Um, but we won't harp on South Carolina too much. Um, Others, Olivia Miles, which was really cool. She announced her commitment to TCU on TNT today. That was cute. TCU also got Clara Silva. No, that's not her name. It's Silva. Her last name is Silva. What's her first name? Oh, it is Clara. Okay. Who's a 6'7" big. So Mark is reimagining his system, right? We got high volume scorer, um, and Olivia Miles, solid PG. We got our big, not 6'9", but 6'7", can do the same job. She was actually pretty good at Kentucky, so that'll be really fun. They're also supposed to be getting Kylie Watson. I feel like somebody else they rumored to be going to TCU as well, but I cannot remember who it is.
Talia Parker. She was on Texas A&M. I'm just
Yes,
looking at the list of.
yes, that's who it is. Yeah, so they're looking to have like a little fun lineup. I'm excited for them, especially to see what Olivia is able to do. So I think they'll be really fun. I think we talked about Ole Miss on a couple of previous episodes, with Latasha Lattimore. Uh, what else they got? They just got Tiana Thompson from Georgia Tech today. Um, there's somebody else that they got. They got the girl from UCF. I want to say she was their leading scorer. Caitlin Peterson? Did I make that up? Is that her name? Yep, it is. Um, so they've gotten a lot of scores, like a lot of really solid scores out of the portal. A bunch of their players did go into the portal, so Coach Yo got a little bit of work to do there. Um, but they're lining up, and who the streets are saying she might be getting some other people. Um, so Ole Miss is really looking like they might get to the Elite Eight next year. I don't know. We'll see who they get at that. I think if they get a center, so I think Latasha Lattimore, well, she's 6'4". Maybe does she play center? I feel like
Natasha, let me see.
I feel like she's kind of more of a power forward. At least when I watch her play, I feel like she's a power forward. Um, anyway, they got some pieces there. It's I don't know how they're gonna all fit together, but they doing some five. It's feeling like a little five out. I don't know. Five out. Well, four out, one in.
It
Just to
could be.
follow.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah, it could be.
It could be really
Um,
cool.
if do you feel like if they land the big fish that is being rumored, would that be enough for them?
My only concern is who their point guard is because they had all of their main guards are graduating, so they don't really have anybody to run the offense. And I'm not, and maybe I didn't watch Kaylin Peterson a lot. I didn't watch a lot of UCF. Um, so maybe she fills that role. I'm not sure. Um, but I'm curious about their point guards because, like, again, all the people they've picked up can score, which is in Ole Miss's defense. Like that's kind of been their issue is that they've really struggled to score. So that don't really feel like it's gonna be a problem. I think it is really just gonna be able to be cohesive, and I do think that if they get this rumored pick, um, it's I think that might be enough for them. I don't know if it's gonna enough to win a national championship, but like an Elite Eight run, yeah.
Yeah, I think I think that's fair.
Um, who else is in the portal? Um, The Miss
Ooh,
Motorsports.
I don't know if we talked about this last week, but yeah, Iowa State got one that you love.
Oh, I think we did talk about this last week, but Jada Williams,
Yes,
sister,
we
thank you
did.
so
Yeah,
much.
we did.
We won so bad. Now, hold on. I'm gonna still need Bill to get in that portal because I think Ashlyn, I think Ashley Jones, not Ashley, Kelsey Jones, and the other girl, Lily? No, not Lily. That's the IU girl. I can't think of her name is right now. Some of their shooters have gotten in the portal and they need to get them back. They need to go ahead and get those girls back. But I do like what adding Jada does. They don't have to be so reliant on. That makes them less reliant on Audie and Addie. And honestly, we talked about bigs expanding their game. Like having a guard like Jada honestly can extend some things for Audie. So again, maybe a little pick and roll happening. Like I'm telling y'all, if Audie footwork, even if she add a power dribble or like a short roll, like this league is cooked. The league is cooked, and player of the year, I don't care what their record is it belongs to her. Um, so I'm excited to see like what she can do for them. Um, Kate Coble to LSU was also an interesting pick to me. Apparently LSU was at her top three. It was between, or maybe top two was between Notre Dame and LSU. Um, I don't know how I feel about that because I think she'll be a good player, but LSU don't. Well, no, they still got what's little mama name? Miracle. They still got Miracle. She can run point guard. So it could be cute. It could be cute. I think they were saying that she's much more of like a traditional player that Kim likes. So I think that could be fun. I'm excited to see her. I do think she started off the year with Notre Dame really well before what's the girl name came back? Maddie Westfield came back. Um,
Mhm.
so it'll be cool to see her, bump in the SEC.
So obviously, it's a lot of players in this portal, and I'm looking at this portal list, and I'm just looking at some of the things that are really interesting to me. It's a good amount of these teams where more than half of the roster is in the portal, and I just don't know what you do as an organization when more than half of your roster wants to leave, like at the same time. Like Arizona has 10 players in the portal. Arizona State has eight.
Okay, well, to be
Georgia,
fair to some of these programs, a lot of them had coaching changes. So
fair.
Arizona State, that lady gone. Um, Arizona, she gone. And you know what? Now that I'm thinking about her, she's going to SMU now. And the fact that she got a job upgrade after losing in the I I need that kind of prosperity in my life because I don't and no less she got in the presser and was like, we ain't even really want to be here. Ma'am, you work at a Power Five institution. What you mean by that? What do you mean by that? They got a better gig. I don't know. But to be fair, a lot of the coaches, there has been a lot of coaching changes. Um, except at program like the ones that stick out that are like, that's suspicious. I like Indiana. Like what y'all got going on? Like, there's no reason six. Like, who was on y'all roster at this point? Um,
7 people left Auburn. Talia Scott's going to Baylor.
Auburn had a coaching change. They just hired the guy from Larry Vickers from Norfolk State, so that's really cool.
Of
Um,
course, Notre Dame lost majority of their. I mean, it's not from transfers, but they lost a good amount of people.
they lost for um
Penn State has lost 8.
apparently their coach was also being nasty, so that's why they getting up out of there. This is more of like a delayed case. I mean,
Georgia Tech is losing 7.
their coach retired. they
Yeah,
just they just Georgia Tech just got Maryland's associate head coach, so she got to rebuild the program. Um,
I just saw that. Who was it? I was just looking at one of the Georgia State players just transferred to UGA.
yes, Danny Carnegie. Interesting that I mean maybe I don't know maybe she's from Georgia. I was intrigued
Yes,
to stay
Carnegie.
there, but that's not good. Like Georgia, they most of their players are really young. So they could be really fun. They were terrible, obviously. I don't know if they really won any SEC games, but they had like a fun young team. Like they could probably make some shaking a little in a couple of years. But I will say I think most of the like 4 or 5 plus transfer outs are because of a coaching change. The only ones that I think that were not that were Indiana, Ole Miss I think had 4 or 5. But they kind of have a lot of a turnover anyway. Purdue, they were really bad, and I don't know, maybe something also was happening over there because they were really bad, and like their recruits are like, we're not coming in there. So I don't know what's going on over there either. They need to investigate. Um, I don't know if there are any other programs. Those are the only two that I'm like, yeah, absolutely. Oh, and Southern Cal had 4, which was still kind of shocking to me. Um, Two of them coming out makes sense because they didn't really play, but Avery and Kaylee still coming out. I'm kind of shocked by. Avery is going to Washington, and that's a really interesting choice.
Didn't a couple people go to
Oh, that's right.
Washington?
That's right.
Um, there is another girl going to Washington. She's from a Big Ten school. I need to see. I don't know. Looking at the like transfer portal tracker online is so terrible. Like I don't like this. I don't I don't know how to navigate this. I'm confused. I
It's
just
not a
don't
good website.
yeah, I don't it's bad. It's bad, guys. There was another girl who committed to Washington. She's from was it not BYU? BYU is a Big 12 school. Um I see the girl's name in my head. I cannot pronounce it. It's something foreign, like very foreign, probably like Russian or something. I wanted to say her first name is like Yulia or
Yeah, that's
something.
what Sammy just said in the chat. Yulia from Michigan.
Yeah, okay. I was like, I knew it. Something. Yeah, she's apparently like a pretty big girl. Um,
She
which
is
will be
6'5".
6. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
So Washington is over there doing something. That's kind of fun. Washington was kind of like one of those like border teams. Fun to watch, but just kind of struggled to get easy buckets down the stretch. And I think Avery Howe will help with that a lot, actually. So good selection. Still shocked that she left, but I think that was a good choice on her behalf. especially if she wanted to play more. Who we did talk about, Maryland. They got the 6'6" girl out of Penn State, and they got Yarden Garzone, who I thought would never leave Indiana. Um, and she's like a sharpshooter. So Brenda doing a little work in that portal. She doing a little work in that portal. So it's gonna be really fun to see what they look like. Nyla Harris left Louisville to go to UNC. That's a interesting choice. Who else is on here? Hmm. McMiller. I don't know if we really talked about her that much, and all her drama. She's kind of funny though, I can't lie. She had I think what's the girl? Talia Goodman posted that her top five were, or teams interested in her were like Tennessee. What was that list? I gotta go look at the list.
I'm about to pull it up. I'm about to pull it up.
I
It
know exactly
was
the tweet she talking about. Didn't she say like I lied?
Hey, I think she's real comedy. She's real comedy because what? Who said that? Oh, okay, I see it. Hershey
yeah.
said, yeah.
It says Tennessee, Auburn, Houston, St. John's, USF, and Florida State.
And somebody in the comments was like, Tennessee want them problems or something, or like Tennessee actually asked for her. And Mick Miller replied and was like, I lied. And like that's it. Like nothing else. Just I lied. Which is crazy. Which is crazy. Which is an insane thing to tweet. Um Yeah, that was the insane thing to tweet. But it was funny. I'm sorry. And the person, and it made it worse because the person like who responded deleted their comment. It's like, why would you delete? Like, everybody needs to see this interaction because this is funny. Why she would do that, I have no idea. And it's like I don't even know if she really saying like if she actually really lied, like Tennessee really not interested in her because like she's an insane person clearly, but she low key can fit into the C system. Like it could work. It could work.
It actually would work. Like I would enjoy it, honestly.
It could work. So like I don't know. But also Kim Caldwell in her first year, we can't be affording drama, sister. Um, I don't know. I don't know what they got going on over there. But she was funny for that. Somebody said once you imagine her as a heel in wrestling, then everything she does gets funnier. And like I've been thinking about that all day because it's like,
I
yeah,
agree. I think basketball needs heels, actually.
yeah, somebody to be the drama. I like that. Gotta remind you not to take shit too seriously. Um,
It's
Samaya Smith,
important to
like
have.
we talked about, she hasn't committed anywhere, but still a good pick for someone. Um, yeah, anybody else that we know their tea?
Of course, LSU lost a couple people. Um,
Samaya in last year. Oh, and ADR. They lost ADR today. Aaliyah Del Rosario. Which I figured when Kate Colville signed, I figured she was leaving. Um, so
Duke is losing Vanessa De Jesus.
that one shocked me. That one kind of shocks me a bit, especially since Reagan Richardson is gone now. So
Hmm.
it's like you kind of get your spot back in a sense. Well, I guess she was coming off the bench for Tana, but I don't know. So maybe it's less shocking. Maybe it's less shocking.
Sammy said, people say that and they don't mean it because the amount of hate black women get for being heels in any sport is just not fun to watch because people can't be normal. And you know what? You are absolutely right. And I, when I say we need heels in basketball, I mean they need to stay in house. Like it just need to be in between us, and we can drop a tweet in a group chat and laugh about it, and that be that. We don't need no segments on the heels in sports. We could just acknowledge that this girl is a heel and we can laugh about it. But yeah, I agree. People don't know how to act when it comes to that. So you're right. We can't have nice things, and it would be great if we could.
Uh, definitely cannot have nice things. Those people are weird. Um, Outside of Portal stuff, I don't think I have anything else. Did you guys think about I put in our thing your favorite moments, but I feel like I just made that up. And I didn't even converse about that. So
um
I don't know if y'all have any off the top of your head or
the anything from the Maryland and Alabama game was my favorite moment.
okay, okay. Honestly,
Yeah, the
oh, go
Alabama
ahead.
Maryland band for band was beautiful. I can't even hold you. Uh,
Mine is still SMU versus Pitt. I don't think I'm ever going to be able to live that down. Like the game happening, the rewatching of it, the talking about it on the pod, like I don't think I'll ever live that down. That basketball peaked right there.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
That was that like it was because I didn't watch that game live, and I remember when you were like, "Oh, we got to talk about this," and I was like, "Well, let me go see what happened." And that game is just, yeah, that it was definitely a highlight of the season for me too.
And just watching it like the rewatch, like knowing the outcome and still watching it and still being shocked by what happened, it's just like an amazing like feeling because it's like how was this even possible? um so that was a peak moment for me, I think. Other moments I really enjoyed, um the Sarah
I
T.
really
3 from
enjoyed NC State's. Oh, go ahead, my bad.
no, go ahead.
I was gonna say I enjoyed NC State's and Notre Dame's double overtime, I believe it was. Was double overtime or just overtime?
It was double overtime.
Mm.
Okay, yeah, I really enjoyed that. Of course, the ACC tournament was really nice. Seeing Martin Luther King uh, get hers. Um,
Mine is still Sarah Tubiasi hitting that three against it was their regular season game. Who was it? Ohio State. Hitting that
Mm.
three hit against Ohio State and fucking Christina Dawsey running on the floor. And then her realizing the game wasn't over and like trying to like tiptoe back. That was hilarious. Another peak moment for me. Um,
In the chat,
Tamir,
uh, Sammy said Sammy said South Carolina beating Texas in the SEC tournament. Maryland against Ohio State, Maryland against Alabama, and Maryland against South Carolina. Sammy might be a low key Terps fan. I don't know.
like, okay,
Like
Terps.
low key. But honestly, after I watched them a couple of games, I started to like them too. So I get it.
Tennessee. Oh, the Vanderbilt win over Tennessee when fucking
Mm.
Michaela Blake's hit that shot, the putback at the rim. That was insane. That was
Her her scoring 48 and then scoring 51 in the same season as a freshman uh is ridiculous. I think about that the sophomore and freshman classes are gonna be ridiculous. Uh Tamir Poindexter's 6 blocks and 8 threes against Kentucky. That is just such a that is really an insane stat line to have. Like, and I'm pretty sure she was 8 for 15 from three. She was 8 for 17 from the field. And then she started off the game like 0 for 5 from the floor. So like when she hit her first one, she really locked in.
and to do it in a tournament game is like this is win or go home. My sister, she was made for the moment. She was made for the moment. That was yeah, that was a good one.
Juju's chain snatch tour.
Oh, that 38 and 6 blocks. Yeah, absolutely. That was honestly, I guarantee you that was the game where they was like, she's winning National Player of the Year. Like, I don't think they looked at any other film after that. It was like, okay, well, I'm gonna send in my ballot today. This is she won. That's it. That's
Yeah,
it.
that 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 lasting impression, it's but in those big games, like that'll do it. Because you think about it, these voters are probably not watching every game. Like
Mhm.
they're watching the marquee matchups, and when the light was on, she showed out. So that'll do it.
I'm trying to who else? I'm trying to think of another team. Uh this is a team that I don't typically watch, but you know, when March come around, you just start watching basketball. I have watched the Big South. Was it Big South or Big Sky? I can't remember which conference it is, but it was Winthrop versus. Damn, who did they play? I can't remember who they even play right now. I need to look it up. But when I say it was the most clown car hoops of like the last like minute of basketball like I've ever watched, and this was the game to send them to like the Big Sky Championship. So like it was serious. And the girl had traveled, and then the other girl got a moving screen on the other end, and then the girl who ain't took a shot like all game just like buries a three to win the game. It was crazy. It was crazy. I was like, how did you? How did we get here? How did you do that? I don't. It was a lot to watch.
Of
Um.
course,
Oh, go ahead.
any Audie Crooks game, like any at all. If you want to watch some real hoops, she has some of the greatest highlights you will ever see. Like that shit is incredible to watch. Um, I I think she what was she the only player this season to score over like 900 points this season or something like that?
I think she did it first. I don't think she was the
Oh,
only
it's
one.
first. Okay, yeah, but yeah, she is pure pose work.
Shout out to um Bloom and Mary for going on their little Cinderella run in the CAA tournament. From a 9 seed to winning the conference championship is crazy. Um, Shout out Bella Nascimento, like real hoops. real hoops, actually. Um, that was very exciting to watch. Um, I really need to figure out what this game is.
All right, so we just got a question. It's a draft question and says there is no talk of Bree Hall's prospects. I think she would be a good defensive presence coming off the bench for a team. Where do you guys want to see her, or where do you think she ends up?
Hmm. I think people aren't really talking about her because um she didn't really score a lot. And I don't think people are able to gauge like how good of a scorer she is per se. Um,
Mhm.
and so I think it kind of makes it hard. I do I think she'll get drafted? I'm honestly not sure. Like
So,
I do think she kind of has a place.
mm,
And I do think at the very least she can get a training camp invite, but I'm not sure if she gets drafted. But then again, there
yeah,
are also aren't a lot of people that I'm like, yeah, she definitely is not like she's
right. So I just looked. Carly Bell wrote a mock draft today, and she has Bree Hall getting drafted by the LA Sparks with pick 28. So pick three in the third round.
yeah, yeah. That feels like a valuable or not valuable, but like that feels like a realistic um solution. I do think to the Sparks, who they got over there? KP, Odyssey, Rakia, Cam. Did they
Let
sign
me
Aaron
see.
to a training camp contract?
Let me see. What's that chart looking like? So they got
She can be a three and
yeah,
D. That's Bree
yeah,
can
they
do
do
it.
have so guard wise, you got Kelsey Plum, Aaron McDonald, Odyssey Sims. Um, wing forward, you got Ray Burrell, Rickea Jackson, um, Denise Swain. Is she gonna play? She signed a training camp contract. Well, she signed a contract with the Sparks.
Was
I
she the
don't
one?
know if she was playing overseas.
Oh
The
no.
Sparks just have her. The Sparks just have her draft rights.
Okay. I
But
was
you
like,
also got, and then you got Ezra, Dearica, Emma Cannon, Mercedes Russell, and Cam Brink is still out.
Seattle, I mean, not Seattle. I mean, LA could be a good spot.
Yeah, I don't mind that, honestly. I
I
don't mind
think
that
that
as a
could
fit.
work. That could work out for her. And the coach now
Sammy,
is Miss only 3-pointers. So I mean she gonna do more than that. Let me not keep saying that about that lady. But I mean, I think Bree can fit in a system like that. I think that it's to
right. Yeah. Sammy says that Bree Hall says that she reminds me of a Lexi Hall type of player could that given the opportunity could get better.
yes. I agree with that. I think the difference I think in terms of like where they were drafted is that at least like Lexi Hall, like she was one of the main scorers at Stanford. So like That was
Hmm.
kind of what she put first, and she like kind of, I guess, went in reverse order in like being a better defender, and then now getting back into her offense. And I think Bree has kind of done the opposite. Like she's a really good defender. She can still score. She just like doesn't. um, until she feels confident in it. But I think you got to be doing, I think, but I don't know if you necessarily need her to do that, especially with um Rakia Jackson on the floor. Like, why is Bree all taking shots? Get the ball up, sister. I don't know about that. Um, so I don't know. I actually think LA could be a good landing spot for her. I like that.
Um, yeah, this I'm looking at this mock draft. It's actually pretty interesting. Okay, next question. Sammy says between Sarah Ashley Barker, Serena Sundell, Haley Van Lith, and Tahina Pow Pow, which of these players gets drafted first?
I'm not gonna rant about it, but the fact that you put Serena Sundell with them three women is a crime. That's a crime. That is a crime. And you know what? I'm not gonna rant about it, but that's a crime. Okay, like I don't know what's wrong with the Serena Sundell PR, but she is not supposed to be with them. Like no shame, because I think all four of them will get drafted, and I think Serena Sundell should definitely go first. Um, the other three,
I
if I had to guess, I think Ashley Barker might go first. Sarah Ashley Barker might go first.
I was
see.
gonna say
I'm not,
Tahina.
and see. I
It
don't know.
should be
I
Tahina.
do.
It
I
should be
do
Tahina.
think. I do think. Um, hmm, I think Serena Sundell of those four, I think she gets drafted first. But I think Tahina is second, just because I feel like teams will look and say she's got the shot, and people will say we can at least we don't have to give her a huge role to start out. But we know that if we need her to come in and shoot, she'll shoot.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would not be surprised if both of them are first rounders, actually.
Um,
Sarah Ashley Barker is interesting because I think feel similarly about her and Haley Van Lith, not as prospects, but in the sense that they were probably both seen as mid-second round players
mhm.
that had great runs to end their season, and it could boost their stock a little bit. Because the thing about the draft is once you get past once you get past the lottery, it feels like a lot of teams are no longer drafting for who's the best prospect on the board. It's who can we plug into a spot? If we need to fill a hole, who do we go for?
Get in where
So
you
I
fit
wouldn't be
in.
surprised to see. I wouldn't be surprised to see if their skill sets are valuable. Like there are 13 teams, which means there are 13 different draft boards,
Mhm.
and one of these teams could have Haley Van Lith at number 7 on their board.
Yeah. Also, Sammy,
So
I didn't mean to slander you. It's just this was like a general slander, because, or not slander, but it was just kind of a general point, because I think like she's a player who's flown under the radar like all year, and like honestly, she get drafted to the right place, she's gonna be one of those players that people are gonna be like, who knew she could do all of this? Like, bitch, we knew. Okay, I knew she could do all of that. I don't know why nobody else seemed to know, but I knew. Um, So that's not really your fault, and I think too it's mostly because it's probably because she plays at Kansas State and they're not they're pretty good. Obviously, they made their run in the tournament, but like their star is a Yoka Lee, and with her being in and out of the lineup, they kind of were a little bit up and down, and they don't talk about people who um I don't know. I feel like it's hard to get coverage if you're not already a winning program, and Kansas State is kind of like a middle of the pack kind of girl. So
Oh, I got a draft question. How do y'all feel about Anissa Morrow?
I love Anissa Morrow. I can't even hold you. Um, I don't know. I don't. It's gonna be interesting to see how she fits because she's not that like tall, and she is very inside heavy. But I think one of the things that I've like noticed more recently is, and it's not that she just developed this, something I just really noticed sooner or probably later than everyone else, but she's like really good in like short roll passing, and I feel like that type of high low stuff is really invaluable in a inside heavy league. Like if she's plays with a big with some hands and that can finish even a little bit, I think that is just going to work so well. Um, I mean, we even see it with like Camilla and Angel right now and how much that works. Like that type of stuff will just unlock an offense. And just another thing with spacing, like without even having to shoot a three or shoot elite from the mid range, it's like you're gonna have to worry about both of us out here. Uh, and we could both make plays for each other. Like we don't a guard does not have to make a play for me. Like I can make a play for somebody else or for my other big. So I really like her. I don't know exactly what her fit may be. Um, I think if you're a team with nothing to lose, I think you see what that's talking about. I think Connecticut is just because see what that's talking about.
Okay, so uh, she reminds me, like I don't know what her role in the league will be, but when she's on, she's so much fun to watch. When she's drafted, I need her to. I'd love to see her watch some Nas Hillman tape. That's who she reminds me of.
hmm, that's interesting. I see it though, because Nas is another person who's like undersized, but will outwork you. Like if you let,
Right,
she will cook
right.
you quickly. I like that. That's a good little point of comparison. I I don't know how to view Anissa as a draft prospect. Like I for me, I think about Angel, and I thought about how like I saw her struggling to score, right, in college, and her motor being her strongest ability. Um, and I didn't feel really confident about how she was gonna look at the next level. Um, and then she got into the perfect situation, and like it really worked out for her. Um, and so I'm hesitant to say that like that same thing can't happen for Anissa. I think Anissa's case is a little harder because she's smaller.
Hmm.
Um, but again, we've seen how far like outworking somebody like can take you. And so I don't know. I do think that like it's not a I don't think it would be silly for anybody to take a risk on her. Like you really have nothing to lose. Like um if she's drafted top 5 or whatever. Um I don't think you have much to lose there. So I think she could be like a fun pickup for anybody. But I don't know. I just don't really know what to make of her because she hasn't like the things that other people do well at her size, she doesn't really do well. Or
Right.
like the things she should be doing.
Hmm.
Uh,
Because I guess when you look at a, you think about a 6'1" player, you're usually thinking about
a wing,
a wing, right?
like a
And
Ryan
she's
Howard or
right, and Anissa is mostly a post, and it's just so you I kind of wonder how teams will view her and how they feel, what coach feels like we can work with that skill set. But that's why I like when I saw someone, I saw the parallels for Naz Hillman is probably the outcome that works best for her in the league.
I would have never put that together, but that was good.
me either. I didn't even think about that. I mean, I kind of forget that Nas Hillman is kind of undersized. She's 6'2", so she's a little bit bigger, but she also doesn't play like a 6'2". So
She doesn't. She just she like she like she's got like a bully way to her game. That makes
yeah,
sense.
yeah,
And I love Nas. I hope that the dream continue to start her. Um, I wish the people that were saying, "Oh, the dream are gonna start BG and Bree Jones together." I just pray that they do not do that because I don't think Coach Mesco would do that. I just don't think so. I feel like he wants to have more spacing. And I know that Nas isn't exactly a spacer. Like she's not really a 3-point shooter, but I would like I would like the team to have more range, like more switchability at least. So
yeah.
I would
Well,
like to see Nas start at the 4.
BG thinks she a big god, so somebody gonna be out there. It ain't gonna be Nas, but somebody gonna be out there.
But yeah, that was my that was my draft question. I know the draft is in 6 days. I believe it is next Monday night.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, it really does creep up on you when the season is over. And
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm scrolling through this mock draft. I see this draft has Cheyenne Sellers going to Connecticut.
Cheyenne Sellers and Diamond DeShields on the same team is a no for me. Let's not. We have enough girls falling on the floor. We don't need no more. She needs to go somewhere else.
Uh, Sammy asked if we read Annie's article on Unrivaled. I did actually, and I mentioned to them earlier about about them saying if Panaja, if her salary is suspended by the Liberty, that Unrivaled will pay it, and I think that's a cool thing to do.
Yeah. And also they almost broke even. They was at 27 million in revenue and like to almost break even in year one where you had a whole bunch of stuff that won't really quite right. I dragged them because that shit still was not they was doing some bullshit and I'm standing on that. But it worked out. So I do have to give them their tens because, And from the article, they very clearly like are like, okay, now we have all of these things that we need to think about and fix and figure out. So I'm get them their tens. It worked out. I thought it was, yeah, I think it worked out.
And last thing I have to say, um, now that the bracket challenge is over, um, if you won, you have won a season of WNBA League Pass on me. So you need to let me know who you are so I can send you your bread so you can pay for this League Pass.
I say I don't even
And if
know.
you use that brand for something other than League Pass, you've banned. Because
Real shit though.
if you need some money, you
Like
should have said you needed some money. But you need whatever Jason. If Jason you that bread, that shouldn't be for a League Pass. If you need something extra, you got to be honest. But that bread that Jason was for League Pass.
I need to make this more secure. I need to be able to I need to be able to gift League Pass to somebody. It's like
This is a fellow.
you better not use this bread for nothing else.
If we find out that shit being used for DoorDash, niggas are getting jumped.
It's like $35. You might with DoorDash prices, you might get one cookout tray. So you might as well just pay for League Pass.
I'm screaming. Look, I'm not gonna jump you. Just don't tell them, I guess. Look, if you needed to brand that baby dog, like, look, you got better priorities. I ain't mad at you. I ain't mad at you. I don't know who won though. Um, my homie who got top three was like, yeah, when I get top three, you're gonna invite me on a pod. I was like, okay, sure. And then he got top three and he was like, see you soon. And I was like, do I block him today? Cause why are you playing with me? And y'all know I got like 15. I was
I didn't even it got rough for me. Because I usually make multiple brackets, but this year I only made one, and I ended up let's see, 13th. So
yeah,
13th out of how many entries? 30, 32.
I was 11. So I almost made top 10. I was this close to top 10. Which also I also only made like I made six brackets. Most of them, the other ones I was just bullshitting. But I only made one serious bracket, and I'm like, I maybe should have made two because I was like, my bracket wasn't bad. Like I could have, switched up some
It's
picks.
crazy. I would and I had because I had the right title game, like the right matchup. But I picked South Carolina because my thought process was um UConn blew them out earlier this season. That's not gonna happen again. And it
Right.
happened again.
We're like, yeah, they're
Yeah.
balanced. Yeah, I thought the same
But
thing.
it's fine. It's fine.
I picked where I fucked up. See, I was like top three for a really long time, and then I ended up coming in 17th place, and I stopped checking once that shit happened because I was at the top for a grip, and then when Juju went down, and I put USC to beat UConn, and that shit did not happen, and then I had South Carolina beating USC, and I had South Carolina didn't even beat UConn. I was like, yeah, my shit is fried. So I had no hope.
Let me
I had
see,
a lot
but
of things right. Oh, you know what else fried me? Notre fucking name.
No name
oh
prize. AJ.
yeah. They sold all of us a dream.
Really bad.
Who
Really
who knew
bad.
who knew that the whole time the whole roster was thinking about, man, we finna get out of here.
Everybody said, wrap this up. We got better
All of
players.
them was in Cancun already.
It's all right. It's all right.
So
But
yeah, my shit
yeah.
was cooked.
Enjoyed it though. Enjoyed it though. We will be back. We'll be back with the bracket challenge next year. And
The WNBA playoffs need the bracket, but like instead of it's like you pick like how many games you think each one is gonna go and who wins which game.
we will and we will be doing fantasy basketball for the WCBB. So
Oh, I need to. My fantasy team did. I know I lost last year.
did I win it last year? I won it 1 year. I might have won. I can't remember if I won it last year. I know I won it the year before last.
I
Mm.
th
Oh, wait, here we go.
I think you did win. Like I thought I won the first year and then you won the year after,
I didn't win. I don't
or
know
maybe
how.
you did beat me.
I can't remember. But yeah, that's it for me. All hearts and minds are clear over here.
Yeah, I think we ran through everything that I put on there, so I'm cool too.
Well, thank you all for a lovely, lovely college season. Uh, um, Again, please do not worry. This does not mean that we will not give content. We will still be putting out like videos, um, graphics. Jamae still does her thing with the content. We enjoy very much. Both of them do graphics very well. I appreciate them very much for those because those are really good. Um, we'll have an interview that drops with Brene next week. Are we doing next week? Did I lie?
Next week? What did you say? Did you say this week or next week?
Next
It don't
week.
matter.
Next week. It's next week.
Next week is fine.
We'll drop that next week. I'm trying to see if I keep sliding in people DMs on TikTok being like, "Hey, we love to interview on our podcast. If not, it's okay, but we love to interview on our podcast." They do not be responding to me. I don't even be opening their shit. Well, we gonna get there. Um, but yeah, we will be back recapping the W season very soon because they have a very short turnaround, as we just mentioned. The W season, I mean, the draft is next week. Uh, I don't know if y'all want to do like a watch party for that, uh, or just
We did one last year. I'm down. I'm down for that. But
yeah. As long as I'm off, I'll gladly do it. I'll gladly be a part of that.
This nigga never off, guys. So
It's bad out here. Um, yeah, we'll be back soon. It's kind of nasty that the W season is around the corner and they still have not released All-Star game tickets. I would mention this any chance I
boy,
get. They're going to hell for that.
I was literally just talking about this the other day. I was like, you know what? Like, I'm just finna be in Indy just to hang out. Like, I'm not even finna be worried about the game. Like, it is what it is.
We about to get an Airbnb and just be there because the shit is free. I'm pretty sure. So
Oh yeah,
like
live was, I think.
the live is free.
Yeah. And
So
and Indy is for sure gonna have like stuff going on. Like my friends are like talking about putting on parties and a bunch of stuff. So there'll be stuff to do. We just might not be watching that game in person anyway. It's always
and, and we'll see. And that's what it is. That's what it is. But yeah, so that just might have to be a game plan. But yeah, this has been another lovely episode, another lovely season of Pull Up 3. I am Paragon Don.
I'm Jamae.
and I'm Detroit.
We appreciate you all very much.
Okay. And it's over. I didn't feel. See.